Greetings, my name is Danica Janelle Isaacs, and today I'm here with Atang Zanawanyata, Kariswa Tau, Martin Kabokote, Junior Joe Dambe, and Kinso Simane, and we are going to be presenting on the stages of research writing.
Hello, my name is Karin Sota and I'll be taking you through the topic and introduction. So the topic is basically the genesis of your research writing. Now I want to describe what a topic is. Cambridge Dictionary describes a topic as a subject that is discussed, written about, or studied. Now you might be wondering why a topic. So I'll tell you the importance of the topic, which is provided the direction for the research. Another one, it's a focus. A well-formulated research topic provides a clear focus for the research. Now, there might be problems with your topic that you might encounter. So, we're talking about challenges of the topic, which is a lack of relevance. Researchers may choose a topic that is not applicable to their study. Now I'll be taking you through the introduction. What is an introduction? JAG defines an introduction as an opening session that provides context for your study, establishes its importance, and presents your specific research topic or question. Now you might be wondering what's the goal of an introduction. So we're talking about the purpose. The purpose, it provides the reader context about what the research is about. Basically gives a guideline about the research. And also another purpose, grabbing the attention of the reader. It has to be engaging, it has to be interesting, and that's what keeps the reader reading your research. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Danica Janelle Isaacs and I will be taking you through the research problem and the objectives today. So, what is a research problem? A research problem is a clear, concise expression of existing difficulty, gap, or condition to be improved and addressed by the study. What is the importance of a research problem? The importance of a research problem lies in its foundational role, as it is the starting point for all research efforts. It also serves as the basis for the entire study, guiding the researcher through the investigation process. What this means is basically the research problem kind of lays a foundation for us. For example, you can't build a house without its foundation, right? So think of the research problem as kind of a foundation for us. Identifying and formulating a research problem is a crucial initial step in any research endeavor, laying the groundwork for the entire study. This process involves several key aspects. 1. A necessity for research. Research is initiated when there is a clear need for it, often generated from ideas and topics developed through literature review, discussions with experts, and ongoing activities related to a subject. Characteristics of a good problem. A research problem must be significant, reachable, and suitable for the researcher, ultimately leading to empirical investigation. It should depict what is to be determined and the scope of the study, including key concepts, definitions, and questions to be asked. Structured approach. The process of identifying a research problem typically involves 3 steps: finding an existing problem, identifying its root cause, and creating a problem statement that clearly explains the identified issue. Objectives. These are fundamental starting points for any methodological scenario, including various types such as fundamental, derivative, specific, or individual objectives. Objectives are typically understood as specific goals or purposes. So basically what this is saying is an objective is what you are expecting. It's the goal that you are expecting to reach. Yes. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Junior Dale and I will tell you through hypothesis. So a hypothesis is a guess that is written in a clear way so that readers can read through and test it later. So So one of its functions is to help tell the relationship between variables if one vector affects the other vector. Another function is to help guide the study by connecting what the reader is thinking about with what they find out while testing it. So we have three main types of hypotheses. Each one being null hypothesis, which is again that there is no difference between the variables being tested. Another one being alternative hypothesis, which is an opposite of the null hypothesis. Basically, there is a difference in the variables being tested. Another type being a direct hypothesis, which predicts the expected results in a specific path. Like for example, if too much sugar is taken into the body will have too much energy. Thank you.
My name is Kelly Sosima and I'll be taking you guys through literature review. First of all, literature review is the examination and evaluation of already published academic researches, and it shows a summary of areas in which research is different and also helps the researcher to identify gaps in the previous research. And taking you through the approaches to literature review. The first one, we have the systematic review, which is basically a research methodology that seeks to answer a well-defined research question by identifying, evaluating, and synthesizing all the relevant existing research on a topic in a transparent and reproducible way. That basically means that you clearly have to define your research question, then you search or look for studies using specific keywords and databases. You set a criteria to decide which studies to include. For example, looking at studies from the last 10 years. And then after that, you read each study carefully, taking notes of the methods, the results, and conclusions. And then you finally analyze all the studies together, looking for patterns, disagreements, and gaps in the research. And then we move on to narrative review. Narrative review is a comprehensive and critical assessment. It is a comprehensive and critical assessment of the literature on a particular topic, and it is used to summarize and combine existing research, identifying gaps and context for new research. Basically, you have to have a topic on this one and make sure you gather all the relevant sources like books, articles, and reports, reading through all the sources and combining that information and summarizing the key findings and arguments. The goal is to present a coherent story or argument about the topic. And then the third one is the meta-analysis one, which basically is a statistical technique used within the systematic literature review to quantitatively combine the results of multiple studies on a common research question, providing a more precise and powerful overall estimate of the event. That is, firstly, you have to have a bunch of studies that have looked at the same question. For example, does this new drug help with headaches? Then you pull out the results from each study, like how much the headaches improved in each group. Then you crunch all the numbers together using special statistical methods. And this gives you a single overall result that's more reliable than any other single study alone. And then moving forward to the steps of a literature review. First of all, you have to check if they are good and reliable. Notice common ideas, arguments, and the points missing. That is basically finding gaps. Make a plan of how one will arrange everything. Then you write the review in order and searching for the suitable reviews.
Good day, my name is Atanza Naonyaza and I will be doing research design as one of the stages in carrying out a research. So, a research design is developing of a study detailing how data will be collected, analyzed, and interpreted to answer research questions effectively. So there is not like a guideline on how you will answer your research problem, and it explains the meaning and implications of the findings in relation to the research questions. So, this means that on your research questions, a discussion is the part where you answer those questions. You further explain those research questions. Why is the discussion important in carrying out a research? The discussion gives context to the results, connects them to existing knowledge, acknowledges limitations, and inspires new research. So, basically, a discussion is important because it gives you an understanding of the results you got and connects those results to the existing knowledge and acknowledges limitations where you lacked in your research study, thinking as well as the stage and research writing. So, you may ask yourself, what does a conclusion mean? A conclusion is a summary of the main findings of the research study. So, basically, a conclusion is like the final takeaway of the research, like what you get after you did your research. So, you may ask yourself, why is a conclusion important in a research study? According to Sage research methods, they furthermore explain that conclusions often explore broader implications, relate the study to existing knowledge, and suggest new directions for future research. So, what they mean is that the conclusion takes the existing knowledge, what you know, and relate it to the study of the research study, what the researcher did. They are also designed to retaliate the importance of the research rather than just provide an overview. So instead of just knowing what the research is about, you also know the importance of why the research took place. Challenges of omitting a research before conclusion. So these are basically the problems you encounter when you include a conclusion in your research. A lack of conclusion can lead to missed opportunities to adjust the limitations of the study, suggest directions for future research, or discuss practical implications of the findings. So, if you don't include a conclusion in your research will be weak. So, it will weaken your research. For example, if a researcher is doing a research on climate change awareness, if they don't include a conclusion, the reader may not know or get the information on how they can relate the researchers' research study to what they already know, that's existing knowledge. So the other stage in research writing is recommendations. Recommendations are suggestions or ideas based on the study findings that can be used to promote and solve challenges. So these are basically solutions that are used to solve real life problems from the research study. According to NANDA, they state that the primary purpose of recommendation section is to guide how findings can be applied in real-world scenarios, helping practitioners. That basically explains what the first point said. Why are recommendations needed? Why should you include recommendations in your research? According to Sage research methods, recommendations identify potential actions that can be taken in response to findings or results. So, after your research, you should include recommendations to how you address the problem, the solutions that can be used to address the problem that you are researching. They aim to provide actionable steps that emerge directly from the study findings. This was the end of our presentation.
Thank you.